Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well.
Goog me, baby, one more time.
Sam's googliness is killing him. And he must confess. I'll stop now. Samurai Sam coming in with the resubscription. 38 months in the Goog troop. Sam can drop all of our favorite and even our least favorite tier 1 emotes. They include the Rips, the Phoenixes, One Business, One Roads, the Shadow Hearts, the Welkin Stairs, the very deadly Roundabouts, the Hollands, the very helpful Triangles, Tally, the GG, the Ice Dragons, and, of course, Samurai Sam can drop those Samurai Slams. Hit those buttons if you got them. Thank you, Samurai Sam. 38 months in the Goog troop. I mentioned it once before, I will mention it again now. The price for subscriptions in the United States is going up next month. For those of you who subscribe in a web browser, which you should, because, you know, Apple or Google or whatever mobile app store you're using takes a cut if you subscribe through a Twitch mobile app. But I do appreciate it. It is very good. Oh, God. Oh, big stretch. Should probably, decide once and for all that I'm doing a subathon on the 5th of July. I haven't officially decided that I'm doing a subathon on the 5th of July just because there's, the ever so small chance that I get a job on the 5th of July. But should probably just say that subathon 8 is happening on July 5th. And we'll go from there if we need to. Yeah, fuck it. It's official. Subathon 8, colon... I don't have a subtitle for Subathon 8 yet. Is in a little while. What are we doing for Subathon 8? We had a poll in the Discord server, and the choices were go back to the usual Subathon thing where it's a whole bunch of games, or do Final Subathon 7 Ream 8, which would have been a very wordy title and did not win the poll, so we're not doing that. Anyway, what are we going to do with this red house? I think the answer is nothing right now. Ostensibly, this red house wants to go up and around and over and down and in and down here and over there. Well, you see, Sam, what you need to do is be constantly watchful, ever vigilant. Let's take another bridge here. We do have double roundabouts today, which is nice. Having double roundabouts means it's very unlikely that I'll ever actually take traffic lights, come to think of it. But we'll see. These purples can come down here. Sorry about that tree. You go that away. This purple here, you know what? This purple here can get integrated thusly. Once this blue comes through here, we'll just do a little bit of a wiggle whoop. There. This right here, it's called a wiggle whoop. I don't know if anybody knew that before, but that's what it is. It'll wiggle its way into whoop. Whoa. No? Star Kid jokes, anyone? No? Okay, fine. That's reasonable. That's fair. Oh, big stretch. Oh, big stretch. Okay. So this yellow here has gone circular, which is gross. Let's see. You know what we can do? We could come up with a way to do something like this. What if these yellows were to be up like so? And then the three of them, there we go. Now these 1, 2, 3 yellow houses can get up that way. Give me 30 road tiles. Thank you very much. We only still have 3 yellows coming over to this circle, but it's fine. All of this is totally fine, as always. Had a good time last night playing Great Ace Attorney Chronicles as we continued the adventure. That's what it's called. The adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. It's a good, fun game, and yet I find I can only, I can't play it for as long as I can play something like a Baldur's Gate 3, right? Like, I'm sure folks have noticed that the Baldur's Gate 3 streams are longer than the Ace Attorney streams. I don't know if that's down to the game style or if I just get too much of a headache from yelling at the stupid people. Because there are indeed stupid people. It is true that not all games are meant to be binged. It is also true that it was really fucking hot yesterday. Also, Pepito is here. Pepito __ first as always. You love to see it. Hello, Pepito. Give me... I've already got 2 roundabouts. You know what? Give me 2 more roundabouts. That'll set me up on roundabouts for the rest of the run. Would be nice if we had a bridge here. We don't. So instead, we're just going to motorway number 1 straight down here. Samurai Sam notes that sometimes he's tried to binge games that one shouldn't and wound up not liking them. Quelle surprise indeed. You know, some games just aren't meant to be binged. They are honestly, Mini Motorways is a game that is not meant to be like you sit down and play it for 6 consecutive hours. I have said it before and I will say it again. Mini Motorways is, at least for me, and I think for most people who, regularly play it, 45 minutes a day for the rest of your life. You're not going to have too many sit down and play Mini Motorways for 12 consecutive hours marathon sessions. And if you do, by hour, 3 or 4, your brain will be mush. Your brain will be a roadie paste. A roadie paste, incidentally, is the title of the episode. All right, this blue over here is a problem. It could be a crisis depending on what we get here. Okay, a bridge. So we got a bridge here. That's good. By getting a bridge here, I can bridge these greens. And having bridged those greens, I can then move motorway number 1 over to here to get these 2 blues to service and save this business. That should be good and fine. Additionally, for the moment at least, we'll do this and get these reds to take care of that business. That should be A-okay. You go off that away. It is also true, as Sam notes, that the early stages of a level of Mini Motorways, if you're not, watching a video or entertaining people on a Twitch stream or something, it gets to be, up until you get to about this point where you're actually managing things and having to make decisions, the first couple of weeks in a run of Mini Motorways are slow. And that's by design. That's the game. That's not like a criticism or anything. That's not me saying it's an area of improvement for the video game. That's just a very intentional choice that was made by Dinosaur Polo Club, and it makes the game what it is. The whole point is that it starts out nice and simple, and you're like, oh, I can do this. You just get car from house to business. And then within 6 weeks, you're like, oh my God! Oh my God! What do we do? What are we gonna do? Kind of like, being a real mayor. I imagine that's just like what being a real mayor is like. So we'll take a bridge here, and we'll bridge these 3 light blues. Keep this business from dying on me. Would be bad if it was to die. This dark blue house here is not actually integrated. Why don't we just voop the blue road down thusly? So now we have 4 taking this rather long trip over here to this business, and that should be totally fine. If I get another bridge, I'm gonna want to separate these reds, just take these 2 and swing them up like so, because we don't actually want to have all of the reds go into a roundabout. That having been said, these 5 houses are doing admirable work keeping this thing busy for now. Also, well, actually, hold on. This is good. This is a good thing. I can reclaim a bridge right now. Pepito asks if I have 100%ed the game by now. I have not. I have not. I don't even have every level unlocked because, like I said, 45 minutes a day for the rest of your life, right? Well, the 45 minutes are me doing the daily challenge. And you don't unlock levels doing the daily challenge. So, you know, at some point I'm going to have to dedicate an episode of Gimmicks to, you know what, F the daily challenge, we're just unlocking Vancouver today. Not now, but, you know, maybe that'll be my weekend project or something. We'll see. Anyway, so what I've done is I've taken these two and I've run them over here into this blue business. These three right here then go up over and in here. That reclaims the bridge that had been over here. The bridge that had been over here is now safely nestled in my inventory, which is probably a better place for a bridge, all things considered. Let's take 2 more roundabouts. Thank you very much. A roundabout is just strictly more versatile and useful than a traffic light, so yeah, we're never gonna do that. Okay, so now here's the thing we are gonna do. We are gonna run these 2 reds right here up over, give them their very own personal bridge. So these 2 reds now come up this way and service this business. Did I say 2 reds? I meant 3 reds. These 3 reds go up here, service this business. These 3 reds maintain their affiliation over here. These 3 reds are keeping this this circle busy. Sam is correct in that you cannot fit a roundabout in as many tight spaces as you can fit a traffic light. That is true. It is also true that this business over here exists, and that's bad. It's not great, actually. Fortunately, it's already going to be Saturday afternoon by the time I finish this first half of a sentence, so it would be reasonable for one to assume that this business is not going to fucking die until we get to another week. And once we get to another week, we might get a motorway or something. Give me a motorway? That's not a motorway. That's 2 roundabouts. You know what? Just for Sam's correct and accurate statement, give me 2 traffic lights. 2 traffic lights are not going to help me right now, but, you know, I also didn't need a 6th and 7th roundabout. So I think we're okay. Now, well, I think we're okay in one sense. In one other sense, we're ultra fucked. And actually, you know what? I have an idea. This is a bad idea, but it's what we're going to have to do. These reds are going to come over here. They're going to come over here and they're going to go into a roundabout. Okay? And the southern spur of the roundabout is going to go into this business. The northwestern spur is going to go into this business. The western spur is going to come out through here, hit another roundabout just to get through here, and then go off this way. So, we get this bridge back. We send those reds off over here, and now we have 6 red houses supporting 3 red businesses, one of which is actively dying. I don't think that's going to be bad or anything. I think that's going to go just fine. I think that's going to be hundo PA okay. Why would that be a problem? Why would any of this be bad for anyone? What are you talking about? It's totally fine. See? Look how totally fine it is. We've got a red flood coming in here just like what you want. Listen, Mario got a custom skin for his water gun. He's got a red flood, okay? Can you come over here? Is this gonna be okay? Hey, this is actually okay for a minute. Jeez. Okay. You come down here. This blue, by the way, has gone circular. So what I've done is I've redrawn this bridge, and now we have 5 light blues going off that way, which is wonderful. It's lovely. It's what you want. You're a green circle, which is bad, but, you know, fullness of time and everything, I'm sure it'll be a-okay. Up here, by the way, we can do a little bit of fuckeration in order to get, this red house isn't actually connected to nothing. You know what? Hold on. Hold our various phones. I bet I can get away with this. if I can get away with this, then I can redraw voop, 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 like so. Okay. So now these reds go up and over there. These yellows go down and around here. This red and this blue go in this away. You're a dark blue that needs assistance. That is basically totally fine, actually. Is that basically totally fine, actually? I can't tell if that's basically totally fine, actually. I think it is, actually. Yeah. Because we can do this. Get these 5 light blues to do that. The 5 light blues go up and over the dark blue hump. The dark blue hump, then... Hey, you know what? If I was to stick around about, like, right here, I could have a northern spur go up that away, and then a northeastern spur go down that away, and then a western spur go up that away. And if all of that works, I can reclaim motorway number 1. Now, granted, that is 5 houses supporting 3 businesses, which seems bad, but, you know, we don't have to worry about it. It's going to be A-OK. Hundo P, A-OK. Additionally, while we're here, I've got a motorway back, right? Because I just reclaimed motorway number 1. Why don't I use it in a good way? This red over here has gone circular, so what we're going to do is chop these reds and their bridge. And then we're going to use these 2 reds here to motorway number 1, voop, just like that. Samurai Sam would like to remember a guy, and that guy is Viscera. Viscera, a.k.a. Mabel, a.k.a. Big Daddy V, a.k.a. a good number of other things. Listen, Viscera had a bunch of gimmicks, and they were all bad. That's not strictly speaking true. Some of them were good. Like, when Vis debuted, he was Mabel in a tag team called Men on a Mission. Their initials were MOM, and their members were Mo and Mabel, and their manager, Oscar. Hey, how about that? They were bad, but they were fun. And listen, it was the 90s. They were, you know, hip-hop and fun-loving wrestling rapper guys. It's totally cool and fine and not a very gimmicky gimmick that Vince McMahon fucking loved, because there are very few things Vince McMahon loves more in life than making black people dance for his amusement. If you don't believe me, I'm just going to gesture vaguely at the career of Ron Killings. But, yeah, Viscera was a guy who was involved in a lot of stuff. He was just a guy Vince McMahon liked, and because you were a guy Vince McMahon liked, and listen, Vince saw money in Vis. The reason he liked him is because he saw money in him. He thought that he could make this, you know, big 400-500 pound black guy into a money-drawing top heel world champion type. And the fact that he tried that 6 different times with 8 different gimmicks, and they all failed because he sucked, and he kept getting The Undertaker hurt, it was beside the point. It was immaterial to one Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but it is true that, well, so Mabel debuts in Men on a Mission, and eventually, as tag teams do in Vince McMahon's world, tag teams exist to break up. That's why tag teams happen. Men on a Mission broke up. Mabel turned heel and started beating the shit out of Mo and Oscar and everybody, and he successfully beat the shit out of them for a very long time, and he won the King of the Ring tournament, continuing a proud tradition of absolutely terrible wrestlers winning the King of the Ring tournament as the start of their doomed, failed main event pushes. Hi, Billy Gunn. How you doing? Yeah, we're talking... Never mind. No, it's fine. No, you're cool. Keep going. Scissor me daddy ass, etc. Anyway, Scissor me daddy ass, etc. is now the title of the episode, by the way. So, by the way, we got this green down here. Pepito wants to know where Nora is. Nora is currently curled up asleep on top of her scratcher perch thing, which is nice. She's cute. She's a kitty. What are we going to do with these greens, though? We're going to do this up here. Oh, cat cam. Well, the cat cam is in the budget extension that didn't get approved. I don't know. Listen, there isn't a place where the cat spends enough time that also has enough lighting and a dedicated camera for there to be a cat cam. But, it's a project for deep in the future when this is my job instead of a thing I do to pass the time before I have to do my job. Hey, if we ever have a bunch of people on stream playing Jackbox games, we could just play job. It's a Jackbox game joke. Anyway, this red will go up here, grab onto this motorway, service this business, that'll be totally fine. This red will come up here, go into this roundabout, service that business, that'll be totally fine. Give me a 4th and 5th roundabout. Fishingworth, if we ever become a successful, full-time content creator, it would definitely have been failing upwards. Absolutely have been failing upwards. Where was I going with this? Oh, right, Mabel. So Mabel turns heel, he beats the shit out of Mo and Oscar, and he wins the King of the Ring tournament. And the King of the Ring winner gets a title shot in the main event of SummerSlam, which is like the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. It's a big fucking deal. Main event of SummerSlam is King Mabel, because, when a heel wins the King of the Ring, he is mandated by law to establish a persona wherein he thinks he's the king of the world and everyone has to do what he says. Because, again, Vince McMahon has like 3 things he knows how to do, and this is one of them. Would you believe Vince McMahon not actually always, usually, ever very good at things? Also, this new red business is bad. I don't like it. I think, in fact, we should do something about it. Specifically, what we should do is the following things. First, we're going to take these yellows, who don't have anything to do with that red, but follow me here. These yellows are going to come over here and service this business from that side, which is good and fine. Next, these light blues are going to come in here and service this business from that side, which is good and fine and whatever. Following that, we're going to take these 3 reds, which had previously been motorway number 1ing themselves over here, and instead of that, they're going to run up here, over here, down there, through here, into this, service this business from that. Wunderbar. Finally, you, over this way, you 2 shall motorway number 1 yourselves in like here. And this greenhouse will point down here so as to service this business. All of this makes complete and total sense, at least to me. So would you believe it? King Mabel, dude who fucking sucks, whose main event push has been fucking terrible, gets into a match with mid-1990s The Undertaker, who is, to be generous, fucking terrible. And the match is bad. And listen, it's the mid-1990s in the World Wrestling Federation. Of course the match is bad. But also, Mabel has this spot he does because he's a big guy and it's an obligated big guy spot where he drops a leg on The Undertaker's face. It's just a thing that you do, right? It's a thing that you do. It's a move that you use. What happens is, well, when you do the move correctly, right? When you do a leg drop correctly, it looks like you stick out your leg and then you jump and then you land on the guy's neck and face and you squish him and it hurts him. That's what it looks like. What you actually do is you stick out your leg and you jump and you land so that the inside of your knee lands directly above the dude's neck and face. So like your ass is on one side of his head and your shin and your foot hit on the other side of his head, and your knee lands directly above his head so that you don't actually hit the guy, because it's professional wrestling and it's fake, right? It looks like you're jumping up with your 500 pounds of weight and landing directly on the dude's face and squishing him like a bug, but actually, you ain't doing shit, and he's fine, because it's professional wrestling and it's fake. However, Mabel was bad. And when you're bad, and you try to do a leg drop. You stick out your leg and you jump up in the air, and you actually land with the back of your thigh and your 500-pound ass across the dude's eyes and face and nose and thing. And it fucking breaks his orbital bone. Which is bad, because that hurts the man. And the man is then pained and injured and smarting. Mabel, it turns out, was bad. And therefore, he jumped up and he leg dropped the Undertaker in the face for realsies. It did not go well for Mr. The Undertaker. He was injured and hurt, which was bad just in general, both because a man became injured and hurt, and in specific because, well, the Undertaker was like the only reason the company was making any money at the time. He was one of very few acts that were actually popular and over and good. So he just kind of had to keep working, even though he had a broken nose and face. Because fuck if Vince McMahon's gonna let a dude go off and heal when he could instead continue working despite being injured. What do you think this is? Some kind of, professional sports league with a players association? Ha 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 ha! You're funny. You're very funny. So anyway, The Undertaker worked for months with a broken orbital bone where he wore a stupid plastic mask over his face that made him look like the Phantom of the Opera. It was dumb. If you've ever seen a picture of The Undertaker where he has a stupid plastic mask on his face that makes him look like the Phantom of the fucking Opera, and you've wondered why on earth would they do that to the fucking Undertaker? It makes him look stupid. Well, it's because Mabel jumped on his face, broke it. And Vince McMahon decided that Vince and The Undertaker decided that he needed to, because, Undertaker was making less money if he was not working, obviously, because again, what are you going to do? Pay a guy to stay at home when he's hurt and bad? Nonsense. No, you're just going to make him work hurt and make him be bad because he's working hurt. Kind of like a Dustin Pedroia baseball player playing through a bad injury that makes him bad and further hurt and then ruins the rest of his career. Hi, Dustin Pedroia. How you doing? Bet you didn't expect the _Goog to take a pot shot at you during Gimmim today, did you? Did you, Dustin Pedroia? Well, too bad, because that's what happened. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, right, Mabel. So Mabel breaks the Undertaker's face, and would you believe it, that kind of sours Vince McMahon on the whole Mabel experience. And then a few years go by, and Mabel gets hurt, and he comes back, and he gets hurt, and he comes back, and he's bad, and he never gets another main event push. But eventually, The Undertaker's putting together a stable. And God bless The Undertaker, sentences I'd never say otherwise. The Undertaker actually likes Mabel, like, as a dude, despite the fact that Mabel jumped up in the air and broke his face one time. So The Undertaker's putting together guys for his stable. And because he's the fucking Undertaker, he gets whatever dudes he wants in his stable. So he wants Mabel in his stable. Which makes sense because those words rhyme, but he wants to ruin the rhyming by, the whole thing is that the stable's called the Ministry of Darkness. Ooh, spooky. And he's taken, rough, tough Texan Justin Hawk Bradshaw and former leader of the Nation of Domination Farouk, and he's turned them into his acolytes. So, and he's taken go nowhere pig farmer Phineas Godwin and turned him into Midian. So all of these shitty 90s gimmicks need a terrible, shitty 2000s rework. Which, it didn't occur to me until right this very moment that the Ministry of Darkness really was just a place for shitty 90s gimmicks to get a shitty 2000s rework. But that's functionally what happened. So these shitty 90s gimmicks get a shitty 2000s rework, and the shitty 90s gimmick of, King Mabel, the hip-hop, fun-loving, fat rapper guy turned cocky, arrogant, fat heel king, gets reworked as Viscera, who is a big, fat guy who's gross and has a bleach blonde mohawk, which is kind of visually interesting at least. Also, he weighs 500 pounds and he wrestles in a gimp suit. So there's that. By the way, these reds are going to die. I have no idea what to do with these reds. Like, we just got problems, basically. I suppose I could... Let's see here. Is there anything I can do to actually save these? No, I don't think so. Like... I'm thinking. Okay, hold on. Hold on, let me cook. What if we put this and this and this and this. We take this and this. We swing this down to here. So you two go off that away. Yeah, Sam's not going to help because he wants the samurai slam, which fair. You then go like that up to there. Voop, voop. We disconnect this. We send this off over to here like that. This is a perfectly cromulent traffic light. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 red houses supporting 2 businesses, one of which is a dying circle, which in turn allows these reds here to be 6 red houses supporting 1 single red circle. Honestly, I think in theory that would have worked if I had done it before both of the circles were on death's door. I think if I had done this in the first place or at all ever, it might have been okay, but now it's too late and I'm doomed. It's my expert opinion. Yeah, nothing is coming here to save either of these. Yeah, okay. I did have a big line going to that northern circle, so maybe if I had done that like 100 trips ago, maybe. 2239 is top 10%. Hey, how about that? I got suspiciously close to Samurai Sam, but drop those slams in the chat nonetheless. So Mabel becomes Viscera. And don't mind me, I'm just setting up the Wordle box because I totally forgot to set up the Wordle box. You'd think that getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and having time to like shower and get dressed for business Goog times, for having to be on a call at 8:30, you'd think that I would have the time to actually set up the Wordle box. But no, it turns out I'm a fucking dumbass. So instead of me doing the smart thing, I just vamp for a few moments, set up the box, and then bring in the Wordle right now, and it's as if nothing happened. So our Wordle today, it can't be Viscera, because that's a 7-letter word. It also can't be Mabel, because that's not actually a word, it's just a name. It could be Label, which is a bad first guess, because it has 2 with the same letter, but, you know, since when do we make good guesses on this channel? Honestly. It can't be lathe because we know there's no L and no E. It can't be gavel because we know there's no E and no L, etc. It can't be maple or fable or really anything that contains an L or an E. So, good job, Goog, I guess. So Mabel becomes Viscera, and he's the big fat enforcer guy of the Ministry of Darkness. And then the Ministry of Darkness storyline just kind of goes for a while, and eventually they unite with the corporate ministry, and then there's a stable with literally 18 dudes in it. And would you believe it, even a 500-pound fat guy in a gimp suit, calling a 500-pound guy fat is kind of redundant, it occurs to me. I suppose if he was 8.5 feet tall, he wouldn't be fat if he weighed 500 pounds. Viscera was not, in fact, 8.5 feet tall. So yes, even a 500-pound guy with a bleach blonde mohawk in a gimp suit just becomes a face in the crowd in a stable full of 18 dudes, especially if the dude has been around for half a decade and everybody knows he sucks, which was the case by 2000. Mabel had been around for more than half a decade at that point, and everybody knew that he sucked. So eventually he got hurt and came back and got hurt and came back and got hurt and came back, and he got repackaged again as he was still Viscera, actually. Like, he was just his name, his wrestler name coming down the aisle, weighing 500 pounds, Viscera. Okay, the man's wrestling name is Viscera. But his gimmick was that he was horny. He was a 500-pound love machine now. He came to the ring wearing shiny silken pajamas, and he flirted with ring announcer Lillian Garcia because, well, if there's one thing Vince McMahon loves, it's putting ring announcer Lillian Garcia in embarrassing, compromising positions on national television. You may notice a theme, which is that Vince McMahon loves humiliating his employees and independent contractors on national television. It's a true fact. Vince McMahon, not a good person. You heard it here first. The hell is this word? No, it can't be vague because there's an E in it. Goog. Stop saying vague. Can't be rails because there's no L. It could be dampy. Now, granted, dampy's actually a word. Good. We learned a thing. It's not dampy. So Viscera is flirting with Lillian Garcia, and this basically goes nowhere. Like, one time, Charlie Haas accidentally knocked her off the ring apron when he was trying to jump Viscera before they had a match, and it was like, oh no, Lillian Garcia's hurt, and then she was fine. Like, she twisted her ankle, she was okay. And then, the story didn't really go anywhere. It's one thing Vince McMahon loves. It's coming up with a stupid idea and running it into the ground for 3 weeks and then just dropping it. So Viscera just kind of hung around for a while. Again, it's 2006 by this point, by the way. Like, we're more than a decade after the terrible SummerSlam main event that saw Mabel break The Undertaker's face, which itself was a couple of years after Mabel debuted as part of Men on a Mission. We're 13 years into this guy's WWE run by this point, and they're still trying with him. Because for the 4th time, for the 19th time, it could indeed be pants. Pepito is correct. It's not pants. And yet, I feel as though we know what it is. Let's get the guys from Breadbasket to have an incident. Ooh, it's a TikTok reference. Is it paint? Today's Wordle is paint. Lovely. Now then. So it's 2006 by this point. And in 2006, WWE relaunched ECW, a failed professional wrestling organization whose intellectual property they had purchased. They relaunched ECW. That's the meanest thing I've ever said about ECW. If anyone actually watches this episode, I'm in so much trouble. And yet, it's a perfectly valid, 100% actual, quick explanation of what ECW was. So WWE relaunches ECW as a weekly going concern TV show, and one of the top-level main event acts of the relaunched ECW is Big Daddy V. Big Daddy V is, you've probably guessed, Viscera, aka Mabel, aka this guy who's been around for, at this point, 13 years, who everybody knows sucks. But god damn it, they were gonna try. So they got rid of the silken pajamas. And listen, dude had 1,000 tattoos and had wrestled in a bodysuit for his entire career. What the fuck? Like, when he was Men on a Mission Mabel, he wrestled in essentially a big purple onesie. And then he became, King Mabel, and he wrestled in a big purple onesie but with gold accents because he's a king now. And then he became Viscera, and he wrestled in a gimp suit. And then he became Viscera, the 500-pound love machine, and he wrestled in shiny purple pajamas. And then finally, 13 years later, 13 years later, they realize, wait a second, all of these tattoos you have give you a rather distinctive look. What if you didn't wrestle in a bodysuit? So instead, he wrestles in long tights and fucking suspenders. For some reason. So he's wrestling in long trunks and fucking suspenders for some reason, showing off his 1,000 tattoos, and it's a new, different, interesting look. The problem, well, the problems are severalfold. One, he's Mabel. And everybody knows that he fucking sucks because he's been around for 13 years. And two, he's on the relaunched ECW, which was a doomed project from the start. And three, he's managed by Matt Stryker. Matt Stryker's whole gimmick was that he was a substitute teacher turned professional wrestler who was really bad at professional wrestling but could talk, so they turned him into a manager, and then they turned him into an announcer, and then he became the most annoying announcer in all of professional wrestling, and now it's 2024 and he's still announcing. Not for WWE anymore, thank God, but, you know, he's still bad and still doing it. So while I've been ranting about Viscera, Samurai Sam has solved the entire collisions. Let's just go. Yeah, the thumbs up, the green light, thumbs up, clearance, and go ahead. These are all phrases that mean, yes, you are approved to do a thing. Roller coaster, tilt-a-whirl, merry-go-round, and Ferris wheel? I mean, yeah, Ferris wheel, these are all carnival rides, I suppose. I was looking at these and being like, you know, things that have ups and downs, but no, these are all just carnival rides. It's true fact. And then you've got your Cinderella story, your Rags to Riches story, your David and Goliath story, and your underdog story. So there you go. You can come from behind stories. And then finally, did I just call it collisions? I don't know, maybe. I saw bumper to bumper. Buttermilk, bumper to bumper, tailgate, and Rumpelstiltskin. The fuck? These aren't parties. It's not traffic. Are you... They begin with synonyms for the rear end. You know, that's true. I can't even say you're wrong. Well, I can't even say you're inaccurate. I can absolutely say you're wrong. So Big Daddy V fails stunningly, does not get over, does not become a big breakout star of the newly relaunched ECW. Kind of putters around for a while and loses a bunch of matches and eventually goes away. And then Mabel just kind of went away, and he, I believe WWE finally released him after Big Daddy V failed, and I think he did some indie dates, and unfortunately, and this is sad news both in general and because I've spent a good hunk of today's gimmimimim shitting on him, he died. He passed away a few years ago. I'm sure he was a lovely dude. He was friends with The Undertaker, which means something to people. I don't really know much about him as a dude, but, well, my experience with Mabel as a fan was not generally a positive one, but there was a lot of it. So, there's that. Today's Strands theme is We Do, which, okay. Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do? We do? Who keeps Atlantis off the maps? Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do! Other Simpsons references. So Sonny saw family. Sam sees bounce. Here's bounce right here. Bounce is not a theme word. Interesting. Sunny C's kiss. Oh, right here. K-I-S. No. Wait, I did it right. There you. Okay. So that's, So is this just things and activities that require multiple participants? I don't really... Well, here's grow and grows, but neither of those are going to be things because they would isolate that V. Wedding? Okay. Oh, we do, and the spangram is wedding. Okay. Okay. Fine. And here's vows and ring. So these are all wedding things. Okay. I suppose that makes sense. Helps me find bouquet right in here. And then you have dance and friends. No one told you Strands was gonna be that way. If I had a nickel for every consecutive day I'd clapped the Friends theme, I would have 2 nickels. For today's Immaculate Grid, we need Nationals, Cubs, White Sox, Guardians, Tigers, and dudes what hit 300 dingers in their careers. A Chicago White Sox player who had 300 career home runs is one James Earl Thom. I don't think Jim Tomei's middle name is Earl, but it would be funny if it was. He also would have fit this square as a dude who played for the White Sox and Guardians. But instead, dude who played for the White Sox and Guardians is Sandy Alomar? Sandy Alomar played for the White Sox? I don't think so. I think Roberto Alomar played for the White Sox. However, Sandy Alomar also did. He did, in fact, play for the White Sox. It's James Howard Thom. Good to know. Good solid middle name you got there, Howie. I'm going to call Jim Tomei Howie from now on, and no one's going to know why. So, let's see here. The guy who played for the Cubs and Guardians is Kerry Wood. He was a relief pitcher for the Guardians. He was quite good. Dude who played for the Nationals and Guardians is Bartolo Colon, fairly obviously. Cliff Lee was a Guardians prospect who got traded around. Actually, I don't think he ever played for the Nationals or the Expos. Should probably not do that then. But he was involved in the Bartolo Colon trade, which is why I think of him as a And again, I'll say Let's not do Cliff Lee here. Let's consider doing Bartolo Colon here, just because it's an obvious fit. And yet, can we do better? Can I do better? That remains the question. Did Jahani Peralta ever play for the Nationals? I don't think Jahani Peralta ever played for the Nationals. So, should probably not say Jahani Peralta. I don't think Andy Marte ever played for the Nationals. It's a true fact. I don't think Paul Sorrento ever played for the Expos. Carlos Baerga never played for the Expos. Omar Vizquel? No, Omar Vizquel never played for them. Paul Ossenmacher? No, I don't think Paul Ossenmacher. Charles Nag. I can name a lot of mid-1990s Cleveland Guardians, actually. They were good in the mid-1990s. Jose Mesa? No. Should probably just say fuck it and put Bartolo Colon there. Yeah, I should just take the layup. All right, fine. Bartolo Colon. Gonna be like 23%. Sad times. All right. A Washington National who had 300 homers in his career is Adam Dunn. It's a true fact. He played him for the Nationals. And a Chicago Cub who had 300 dingers is, man, anytime the game asks for a good Chicago Cub, my first instinct is Mark Grace. Mark Grace would have had 300 homers, right? 300 homers is like, it's a lot of homers, but it's not a, well, I mean, it is 30 homers a year for 10 years, and I don't think Mark Grace was really a 30 homer a year guy. The obvious dude is Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa had double that. I didn't say the most obvious dude. I just said the dude I think of. Yeah, Mark Grace wasn't really a 30 homer a year guy, I don't think. And also, he was only like good for maybe 12 years. So it's entirely possible that Mark Grace only had like 262 home runs. Also, I think I've tried Mark Grace for a 300 homer square before and not gotten it. So, let's not say Mark Grace, shall we? Should we just take the layup again? I think we should maybe just take the layup again. Okay, fine. Now I have to name some Detroit Tigers. Good Lord. Ernie Banks is obvious, but I don't. Was he a dinger guy? I mean, he's a historically great Chicago Cub, but was he a dinger guy? Oh, he hit 500. Okay, I suppose he was a dinger guy. Come to think of it. Fair enough. So now we need to name some Detroit Tigers, which is where this all goes horribly, horrendously wrong. So let's see here. John Lester was never a Tiger. John Lackey was never a Tiger. Ryan Zimmerman was never a Tiger. Will Cordero was never a Tiger. Frank Thomas was never a Tiger. Robin Ventura, Ozzie Guillen, Jason Beret, all of them never Tigers. Roberto Hernandez, Wilson Alvarez, Mark Pryor, Joe Girardi. Where's she here? Tony Clark never played for any of these teams. Bobby Higginson, Travis Fryman. I'm just naming every Tiger I can possibly think of. Niger Morgan? Was Niger Morgan a Tiger? Maybe? I think Niger Morgan might fit this square. That sounds right. Okay, I've successfully talked myself into Niger Morgan. Niger Morgan? Fuck. It's not Niger Morgan. Oops. What else can you say except oops? Justin Upton? Was Justin Upton a Cub? Justin Upton was not a Cub. Well, was Billy Hamilton a Tiger? True fact, no one has ever played for the Detroit Tigers in the history of professional baseball. It's a true fact. Oh, Maglio Ordonez makes sense, and Javier Baez signed a giant contract with the Tigers, and Max Scherzer's fairly... Okay, fine. So there are some fairly obvious dudes who I just fucking, missed. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here today on Good Morning Mini Motorways. We'll be back Monday for another edition. I don't have anything special. Have a good weekend, everybody. It's Friday. There's always the chance of an impulse stream, but also it's hot and I have an all-day job, so, we'll see. Bye.